just going to watch the demise of me over an hour.
Okay, this will be quite fun then.
It's funny because like He.She.They, we've been really lucky, won awards, all this stuff. But the concept of just like everyone being equal to me is a given. And how is that a radical thought?
Was that kind of the first thing you did in the industry? Like, or how did you kind of get into
He.She.They?
it? Yeah.
Fuck off, Alex. The best way to break down barriers is to get different groups of people to meet and go, oh.
Yeah, bring them all
just
together,
normal.
yeah.
Like, it's just humanity. Honestly, if you go on a night out and come back and go like, do you know what, the music was fucking brilliant, but it just wasn't homophobic enough.
Hi, welcome to Loud&Unfiltered podcast. We are live here in beautiful Ibiza. It's a glorious day with this amazing view. I'm joined by my co-host Grego today and the wonderful Stephen Brains. How are we doing, mate?
I'm good. I'm in the direct sun, so right now this is my proper look, and then bit by bit the sun is slowly going to melt and make my forehead piss with sweat. So we're just going to watch the demise of me over an hour.
Okay, this will be quite fun then. We're
it
filming it. We're filming it,
and seeing that, mate.
Yeah. Look, we're going to dive straight into this because we've got so much to cover, and I want to find out, just basically about how you got into the music industry, what you're doing now, and things like that. And I suppose first of all, congratulations on your new role.
Seriously, first question. Defected. Tell us about how this came about, because that's amazing.
Do you know what? We've been dancing around, working together for about 2 years, and I just really like Wes. I haven't had a boss for 15 years, so it definitely took to be the right person. Like, I've had like different job offers, but Wes was the first one who was like, you can keep managing clients, you can keep doing He.She.They. Really important for me. You can still like post any of your politics or whatever online, because obviously I talk about everything from gay rights to women's rights, trans rights, about conflicts around the world, different things like that. That's really important.
Sorry to jump in. You feel like has that been a problem with other opportunities? And
yeah, there was a lot of ones where it was, again, it's never like directly said, but it's kind of like very strongly hinted at, or they're like, or just we just want you to focus solely on like, say, like running this electronic division for us, or like building one out or whatever. And it's always weird that, because it's like, well, you've hired me because I do this, but Wes is like wanting to bring that into the family and stuff. So it's, it was really important. And just I actually really like the brands there as well. Like, it's funny because, so I've managed like My Jane Coles and Taylor Voss and all these people like Tricky, Nadine Shah, like people who've won Mercury prizes and got nominated for Grammys and stuff. But I'm not like a music snob. Like, I also love fucking Titanium with like David Guetta and Sia. Like, if something's good, it's good. So like having Defected, Glitterbox, He.She.They, that live is getting a bit more techno oriented, and even D for Dance, you've got this whole like kind of musical spectrum to play with, which is really fun. So,
well, I mean, yesterday we were talking about how that, especially in Ibiza, the promoters, old school promoters, almost don't exist anymore, because artists.
It's all kind of led by the artists now, and there was a big shift in that. But then you still got Defected. You still
Defected
got
there's
these
amazing brands.
Circle Loco's still there.
For Defected and Defected back at Pasha this year. So I mean, that must be, as an old school raver, it must be really exciting to be involved in that now.
Oh, totally. I mean, this island for me, when I first started, and it's why I got into dance music really, was Manumission. Manumission was like, and He.She.They definitely owes a debt to that idea of that it didn't matter who you were. You literally had Madonna and Jean-Paul Gaultier next to like a builder from Hull, or like a teacher from like Norway or whatever.
Or me and you.
Or me and you, exactly. Me being a little scally from Sunderland, just there. And it was the first time I'd really seen drag queens. It was the first time I'd probably known, like, I'd meeting drag queens, because Sunderland at that time as well really didn't have much migration, didn't have refugees or anything coming to there. So it was like, it was just very white. So coming to this other kind of cornucopia of all these different people, also like seeing boys hold hands as well, like all this stuff, because Sunderland didn't have a gay scene. So it was like, it really was amazing. And it was very much just everyone living harmoniously.
Yeah. When was that?
The 90s, when there was
I was
still
going to say, when was that year that when you first came to Ibiza then?
1998.
Oh, okay, that was a year before you.
99 was mine. Yeah. No, it's the same. It's a freedom, isn't it? Of same. I'm a Scally from Birkenhead, exactly the same, and it was just a freedom of right, Manumission. This is what happens here, and it's all cool, and everyone's having fun, and no one was blinking an eyelid at what was going on, and it's just amazing as well, like that you've managed to take that inspiration and like build the things that you've done and keep it as well. Like, I mean, we'll talk about He.She.They in a minute, but the fit with Defected for you is, I mean, it couldn't be more perfect now. It's like it just...
Yeah, like 100%. And like, bit by bit, I'll put my stamp on it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think anything needs a sledgehammer there. I think the brands are really good. But like, there's always little different tweaks. And it's really nice that also now the Defected booking team is more diverse as well. So you have, like, the lineups naturally become more diverse.
But they've made a really big deal about this as well. Like, they've really positively taken steps to like have people in the team who are in charge of that type of thing as well, haven't they?
But that's it. It's not performative. Like, and I like it that it's not one type of person. Like, I like it that it's not just exclusively queer or it's not exclusively anything. Because
it's a real mix, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's
kind of like the dance floor, really. How you kind of want it to be, isn't it? Yeah.
But this is exactly what it was, and I think with Manumission, because it was Andy and Dawn and Claire and Mike all having different viewpoints feeding into stuff, and like having this range of different people around them. That was why Manumission worked, and it's just like, how do you take that idea of just everyone being equal, which it's still. It's funny because like He.She.They, we've been really lucky, won awards, all this stuff. But the concept of just like everyone being equal, to me, is a given. And how is that a radical thought? But it feels like in 2025 that, or like my best buddy, he made these amazing sunglasses, by the way, which are very useful.
Yeah, they're working right now for you. Yeah, definitely.
Very Andy, very good. But yeah, like. He's like a straight guy who's Muslim. He's not like super religious, but like half Iranian. And theoretically, on the internet, we shouldn't be friends, and we're like best friends, like completely inseparable. It's just like I wanted to create a space, as with all of our friendship groups, to be honest, because this was the thing. It kind of got born out of. Sorry, I'm so ADHD. I'm going to jump about on these.
That's all right, man. You go ahead. You talk as much as you want.
Yeah. But like we used to like come back from an after party and everyone had been in their little splinter group night, and I was like, but now we're all together in the after party. So shouldn't there just be a place where we can all go, where no one's particularly like an ally, because it's not that any particular group has a power, it's just that we're all there for music. And it should be that if you're a straight white guy or a black trans woman, either of you felt just as safe and comfortable in that space. And also that a straight white guy can be best friends with a black trans woman. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's good that you have spaces where you're not the exotic one, but it's also important that you can feel safe in Fabric or Coco or Coachella or Glastonbury.
The thing is, though, mate, is that you didn't just that isn't just something you're saying now. It's like you've created your whole brand around that and built something that honestly, I still step back and think, like, for people to accept He.She.They in the way that you made that work.
Was that kind of the first thing you did in the industry, like, or how did you kind of get into it? Yeah.
Fuck off, Alex. Jesus, Jones. Thank God Gregor's here. I've actually been really good for years. No. So I first started. This goes back to Ibiza again. So, as you might guess, I was a bit gothy. So I had dyed black hair when I was about 16, and then Nirvana happened, so I dyed it blonde. But at the time, didn't have any queer friends to go, you don't just dye black hair blonde. It's a bit like Legally Blonde. It's like, oh no, there's a horrible step where you will go iron brew orange, which I did. then the lads were like, if you come on this holiday with us, your hair has to shave. So I then got a high skin fade, got all of it off, and then have kept the same hair forever. Because I was suddenly like, oh, like I look good now. I should have like got rid of the long locks ages ago. So then ended up at Manumission, laughing at this dude who was hollowing out a cantaloupe with his knob. And Claire, who we hadn't realised was Claire from Manumission, came up to us and was like, well, you wouldn't get up in there and do that. And like, laugh with, not at. It's not like you're not being
Little did
told.
she know, eh?
Yeah, little did she know. So me and my best friend were like, we can get on that podium. And then I think she was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, you actually will go and surrender yourself in that same way. And then because of that, there was some guy backstage who was when Kiss was owned by the same parent company that owned Mixmag and a few other people. And they were like, oh, we want to run this night called Pizza. It was at Camden Palace. We want to take it like regional. It's like, do you know anyone who can run it in Sunderland? And I was like, I'll do it. I was 16 and not like legally allowed to be in the club. But I was like, oh, fuck it, I'll do it. And then at the time, like me and my like agoraphobic mum were like booking this like techno and hard house night in Sunderland.
Oh, wow.
My mum used to like drop me off, go like, oh, you're putting up the curtains, which was all the branding wraps around everything. I kind of learned it from there. And that was, I was 16, so what's that? I'm 43. So like, yeah, best part of 30 years ago. And we booked like Lisa Lashes and Rob Tazira, that kind of stuff. Then Ministry headhunted me because I did Kiss stuff. So it wasn't that I was particularly good. I was just working for the rivals at the time. So when it was my Freshers' Fair, I was running a party for Ministry Mag at that time. I wish it had been Mixed Mag, obviously. And then just it kind of snowballed from that, like ran loads of events around Newcastle, had this student club night that was like Enemy Student Club Night of the Year nominee, all this stuff. And then I started, I was like, oh, I kind of realised I want to get into music. So I did psychology as a degree and a master's. I also wanted to be a WWE wrestler really bad. I fucked my shoulder. So that was, it's also just been WrestleMania weekend, and that's why I've got blue hair.
Oh, yeah, I actually
That was
remember
an
you being
impulsive-
massively into that. Yeah,
I
yeah.
watched 2 nights of WrestleMania and then a Monday Night Raw, and just the ADHD was like, maybe you should dye your hair blue. So then, this was an impulse 5 a.m. decision, but I quite like it. So I started then scouting for different kind of labels and publishings up north, because I was like, oh, they haven't got anyone based up here. So I worked for free, but I was like, no one was offering me a job in the music industry, and I needed to like just nail, because I don't come from a rich family, so they're like, look, get a qualification to fall back on, so because just in case it all goes tits. So I worked for this guy called Michael Morley, who signed MIA, Vampire Weekend, like Daft Punk, Knit and Sony, like madness. And he always taught me, which is I think follows through to He.She.They and stuff now. If something's like just undeniably good and you would buy a ticket for it, it's undeniably good and you would buy a ticket for it. You don't need to be an A&R guy with 20 people in the room going, oh, this is great. If you know it's shit in a kind of Emperor's New Clothes way, then it's not good, like, at least for you. But there's so many, like, don't just want something because your mate wants it. So, like, I took that on, and then after I got my master's degree.
Where did you go to uni?
I went to Northumbria. I got into Durham.
So you stayed in the region.
Well, I got into Durham, but Ministry were like, oh, you have to be in Newcastle if you want this job. So I turned down Durham Uni.
Oh, right, okay.
Thought of my insurance, which was Northumbria, but they were really good for psychology.
Yeah.
So then I was an occupational psychologist and worked for Ministry of Defence, the Human Fertilisation and Embryological Authority. I worked for.
Oh, wow.
But were you still like
Elections Victoria,
promoting?
Yeah.
On the sides.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
promoting scouting. I was straight back then. So I moved with my ex-girlfriend of like 7 years to Australia, which is where I worked for the prison service there and stuff, just doing culture change, trying to make it like a nicer, safer place for prisoners. Because I also just think that everyone has the right to respect and dignity. And so yeah, so I did all that.
I mean, that's a whole other podcast right there.
Yeah, that's a whole other life, and a whole other thing. Yeah. Wow.
I have family members that are in prison. I have family members that run victim support helplines and stuff. So I've had a really interesting, like, one of my great grandmother was a probation worker. So it's really important for
So really, He.She.They, they're not really that wacky at all.
Oh,
Like,
no,
you know,
I was writing for Amnesty International and stuff when I was like 14, and like a lot of my moral compass comes from like my mum and stuff about like just like, yeah, like my mum, should probably not like the story, but like got pregnant really young, had 2 kids by the age of 21, and so she was at that time was kind of like, it wasn't the done thing. So she was friends with, like, she had like gay friends and black friends and things in Sunderland when that really wasn't like the norm. And my granddad helped this this interracial couple in Sunderland, what do you call it, where you go to kind of Gretna Green, elope
to get married,
and get married and stuff. So like my family's just, and my mum went out with like the dude from the local gypsy family. So like I had one side that was like relatively middle classy-ish, like especially for Sunderland it was middle class, and then the other side that was like doing horse and cart removals. So I had this really interesting duality.
That's a right mix, yeah.
Yeah, no, like I went to private school, but I had 2 scholarships in an assisted place, so I had nothing. So I was captain of the rugby team, but was wearing the guy from the year above's like seconds. So I've always had that thing of like being. I was there for 2 posh for my working class friends, but 2 working class for my posh friends. Well, like in a way to be either. So I was just, I think that's why I naturally just judge everyone.
But do you think,
like I've been straight and I've been queer relationships.
Do you think in terms of like what you do now, like that just leads into everything?
Totally.
You build a brand like He.She.They, you manage the artists you talked about before, like Maya and Taylor Voss. You do this thing with Defected, and it's just another thing that, you take it as it comes. And
100%. If you just base people on who they are rather than what they are, then like talent and everything, it's not like Carol Vorderman and Countdown where I'll have like 3 friends from here and 2 friends from anywhere else, please. It's like if you just base it on like an actual people, your friendship groups like become really diverse. So therefore, the things that people come to you or hear you or like as well, because of building something like a He.She.They, or just like managing who I'd managed, so like Tricky, Nadine Shah, My Jane Coles. I managed my flatmate KDA to #1, and we beat One Direction on his debut. Like all these like mad disparate people. SYREETA now, Emily Nash, Waxwings and stuff. There's definitely more people. Cats and dogs all come. But like there's
a lot
of different people. The different people will come to you because of Magda as well. There's like people will come to you because you manage this diverse.
For people who don't know, how could you explain to a person who's like kind of maybe new in the industry, what does a manager do? Like what is that role? What like how do you bring? What's your job as a manager for these artists?
Kind of everything. I mean, I'd probably get too emotionally involved. Maya and I were definitely probably codependent for a lot of years. But like, I don't know, like with someone like Maya, for instance, I saw how wonderfully talented she was. She was amazing. And it was funny because loads of people at the time were like, oh, I don't know how you're going to get this queer, half Asian female DJ to like do well, like there's not money in it. And I was like, she's undeniably good. And it was back that Michael Morley in my ears, like, she's just really good. And it's funny because at the time our management company also managed Ed Sheeran that I was part of.
Oh right, okay, well, wow.
Okay. I'd helped do wear my Rolex because I managed the producer of that, because I used to manage grime acts as well. That like he kept asking like, oh, can I be part of his management equation? And I was like, oh no, because so it's funny, everyone's like, oh, you turned down Ed Sheeran lots, and I was like, but I couldn't have made him a star.
Yeah,
I didn't see that thing. Undeniably, he's talented. Like you can look at that objectively. Loads of people like it. It's not my music, and I don't think necessarily that, it might be wrong, but Ed Sheeran's manager might not have made My Jane Coles a star.
Yeah.
Because at the start, it's
So what
easy
types
to
of
manage
things,
something when it's up and running.
With Maya, when at the start, obviously you saw the talent there. How were you helping her? What? I mean,
Oh, no,
practically, what were you doing to uh, get her going and put her in the right direction?
no, this is what I was going to flag onto. So like at the start, that's when you make all the phone calls, send so many emails to everyone, just knocking on doors, going, be aware of this artist. So like the first things I was like, right, we need to. You can think of however you want on free labor, but I do think with artists at the start, it's important that you go and do some stuff like remix artists for free and do different things just to get your name on the board.
Yeah, just try and do as much as you can to get yourself out there, isn't
Yeah,
it?
like I managed people for
Support.
free at the
Yeah.
start, and I know that's maybe goes against my whole workers' rights thing, but also it's if you're not born into it, it's how do you get your foot in the door? So
Yeah.
Maya, I got her to do. She did a free remix of Ellie Goulding, Starry Eyes, back in the day, and then which got really well received. She did a free remix of Massive Attack, and then they liked it so much that they paid her and put it on the deluxe album. It's this Act She Is Danger that she was in. Then we did another free remix for Gorillaz, and Damon liked it enough that he went and then paid her.
Oh, wow, these
So
are all
funny.
massive remixes.
Yeah,
of, massive
like,
acts, yeah.
But then it was like, oh well, then the power of three. Oh, so who's Maya remixed? Oh, Gorillaz, Massive Attack, and Ellie Goulding. She might have remixed 10 other people. You don't need to say 10 others after those three.
That's huge.
And then Annie started, like Mac at the time, started playing her tunes because the remixes were big. Where had it been her originals at first, probably wouldn't have played it. So like that was a hook.
Do you have a plan at this point, or are you just going with the
flow,
with the flow and the momentum of what's happening? Obviously, it's all of that work you've put in before, but
yeah, you kind of just react to what's going on. But it's just like for everyone who's successful, you probably throw 100 things against the wall and 4 of them stick. And then it's like, how do we bleed the most out of those 4 things to get 5 and 6 and 7 and 8? And then also you need the artist to be a hustler as well, which Maya was, and just like knocking on people's doors, and just Maya also doing the work. There's so many good artists that self-sabotage.
yeah.
Maya at the start was like printing out CDs and going to Forward and all these nights and like handing them out so people would get their music in their hand. It wasn't just like
hard working.
Pick me, this will happen. Like, so yeah, just loads of hard work. Maya also is just. I don't think people always realise in a world of ghost producers and all these things that Maya plays every single instrument. She makes all the artwork herself, other than like the mastering of tracks, which she probably could if she just had more time in the day. Everything is that girl in this one little studio. Like, it's the most unbelievable thing. And at the start, people used to be like, so who really makes her tunes? And I'm like, you fucking idiot. Like, she makes about 5 of the men that are in this room's like tunes as well. And you ain't questioning them on it.
So she was ghost producing for other people as well,
Yeah, like part of the start of her career was selling her tracks to different people and engineering for stuff for people. But then, like, that's the thing, if you do really good work, Maya had a very quick trajectory because What They Say landed pretty early.
Tune.
What a tune.
What
Funny,
a tune.
actually, because for her, she's like, that's the most A to B tune she ever made. So she's like, it's great that it opened this door and it got sampled by Nicki Minaj and Katy Perry and a million other people. But Maya can also make, like, hip hop, can make indie records, has made like dub records. So like, again, there's loads of managers that should be like, oh no, you need to keep her in this lane, and I'm like, no, she's genuinely good at everything. Like, make the polymath career, like, go shout about all these things. And at the time, like, this was before Amelie Lenses or Charlotte DeWitt's or Peggy Goose or whatever. You kind of had these amazing. So when I first started, there was more women. Like, during Hard House and stuff, you had like Lisa Lashes and Lisa Loud, and you had Rachel Auburn, and Miss Kitten was there with Electro Clash, and Ellen Allien, and Mistress Barbara, and all these different people. Then they would kind of seem like the door shut on them a bit. And this is also people like Minx and Stacey Wax Hale and stuff like that in America.
Why do you think that happened then?
Misogyny.
Yeah.
Which is a big podcast in itself. But well, how did if you look at most billboards in Ibiza, is straight white guys.
Yeah.
From a music that originated from black and brown and queer people.
So in the 90s, people weren't thinking about it, and then
I think that
almost subconsciously when they did,
yeah.
Do you know what it is? I think that there was. It comes back to wealth and stuff.
Yeah.
That if well, like your Live Nations and AEGs and big companies are obviously kind of white-owned big companies. So when they get involved, it tends that like if I'm trying to say these in like
the people
diplomatic
who are
ways.
behind those companies are...
become white, and the bookers become white, and then you have a disposition to go and book people who look like you. Not in a I don't think it's ever been done in a like malicious, vengeful way. I think it just is. It's just the way. If you don't hire black and brown and queer and female bookers or trans bookers, you're just gonna get a reflection of that. So then the dance floor becomes reflective of that.
Yeah.
So then people go, oh, you can't book that artist because they're not going to pull the dance crowd. But the dance crowd looks like this when it didn't in the 90s. It was way more diverse because of the way that it's been structured. So for instance, when we do a lineup, and again, it's always talent based, but it's normally like there's a female artist and a person of colour and a male artist. And we book loads of straight white guys like Ben Clark and Ewan McVicker and Eats Everything and more because I don't like that us versus them game.
Yeah.
I think...
Yeah, it's all together, yeah.
Yeah, like class is just as big a barrier to me getting into music as being queer was. Or like, if I taught like that, like how I did at the start, I could have mapped the fucking human genome and people would have been like, all right. But if I kind of slow it down and talked in a more high street Kensington voice, people were listening. And you just learned a code switch because of going to private school and whatever. Like, how do you get people to listen? And I think women and people of colour and queer people have to code switch first to get in the music industry. I think it's getting better again. But my point was, because when we do a He.She.They booking, and you can book, like, say Sarah Landry on the same lineup as Dax J or SPF DJ. It's just a good lineup. It's just a good lineup in hard techno.
Yeah.
But it's like, but there's a diversity to it. Like, Wax Wings is our resident. So say if that one, you've got a spread of queerness, people of colour, women, and a lot of our lineups, you wouldn't go like necessarily, oh yeah, that's just like a diversity lineup. You just think it's a good lineup, and then you'd go, oh, actually, and it's really mixed up. Now, the great thing about that is, if you are a person from any one of those groups, you enter a club or see a lineup and you go, oh, okay, I'm welcome there. Like, there's somebody on there that might not be exactly the same makeup as me, but on some different criteria, I'm represented. And in the same way that, like...
It kind of makes you feel more welcome.
Yeah. And this isn't also a straight problem, just to make that really, like... If you go to most gay clubs, it's just men. Big men. And if you're, like, a lesbian or a trans person, or, like, someone like me who's, like the Harry Potter sorting hat is trying to go, like, oh, okay, so you're fat, but you're not hairy. Like, what house do we put you in? You're definitely not a fucking twink. So it's like, oh, you wear black, we'll put you in Slytherin. It's like... People like me in the gay scene who is like, oh, I don't know what tribe you belong to. So in those things, try and make those spaces and prides like more diverse. So therefore, I work with one second. Sorry, just finish my point. Otherwise, I'm going to go off on another tangent. It always circles back to something at the end. But like because of that, our dance floors are diverse. So then more and more you do shows there, more and more people come in, and it is like that Manumission thing of we have working class straight white guys and we have black trans women on the dance floor, and there's no problems. There's no problems with toilets. There's no problems with like assaults. We just never had stuff because of all the things we post, and because we actually live by the message. So actually people live really harmoniously together, and it's really nice to also let trans people see that these other people don't really hate them in real life.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly,
I was going to say, like, how have you kind of pushed those morals and kind of like.
same question. How have you taken what you saw at Manumission and what you wanted to do, and what
put
you've
that
just
into-
explained, and everything you've achieved with that? I mean, because I'm sure it wasn't just as straightforward as right, let's do it, or you know, what were the challenges, and how did, you know, at what point did you think, right, I want to make this happen and do it, and you know, what were the barriers that you had to go through?
And
to make
is that kind
happen?
of why you started He.She.They as well?
Yeah. I mean, look, there was a certain act that I'd had to make a lineup reverse alphabetical order for. They were
Go on then, who was it?
no. But it was just like these dudes who were quite privileged, and I was like, is this the legacy that I'm
Yeah.
leading? Part of me, I was like, I can't believe I've just pulled that off. It's reverse alphabetical order is not a thing, but like, so like, well done. But
That's
also
the manager in you.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Had to win the situation, but like, it was just like there is a better way to do this. There's representative of our friendship group, so Sophia and I. So I couldn't have been able to do it without my business partner Sophia, who's incredible, and we're still business partners now. And she's also just my moral compass on so much in life as well. So just the two of us who were just like, right, let's just do it exactly how we wanted to do it. So on the socials, talking about trans rights and abortion rights and Black Lives Matter and Stop Asian Hate and all these things, that like sometimes you'll post something and you'll lose followers, sometimes you gain a whole bunch of them. Ariana Grande fucking not retweet us, but shared like something we posted about trans rights the other day on He.She.They. And we were like,
amazing.
Yeah.
and you had like 1,000 new followers. You also got loads of haters.
Yeah.
People going like, this is terrible. Like, you've corrupted Ariana. It's like, it's so bizarre to have like, I didn't
You're happy
think I was
about
going
that,
to deal
weren't
with this today. But like her and Becky Hill, and there's quite a lot of like Alanis Morissette. There's loads of people who share our stuff, and like are on. We just create what you want to come, and like I think we drove away a lot of people who wouldn't have liked the night, and we attracted a lot of people who would like the night. And then also I feel like there's probably some people who come to He.She.They and are like, oh, am I going to have to be like, really like, is this going to be really cancel culture? It's really not. And I think that's the thing. It's like, it's a really low bar to not be racist.
Yeah,
Or
I was
misogynistic
going
or
to ask,
whatever.
it's like you're going into different territories with it, with new audiences.
Yeah.
What's that's like when like the first a person just comes into the show for the first time, or
Honestly,
what's
fine.
that like?
I think that's the thing. We've got posters on the wall saying like no homophobia, no transphobia, no.
It's almost like they're the
we
ground
set the
rules
house
of how the
rules,
scene
yeah.
should be anyway. Yeah.
Like honestly, if you go on a night out and come back and go like, do you know what, the music was fucking brilliant, but
Yeah.
it just wasn't homophobic enough. Or I just didn't see enough women be attacked. Like, what? Like that's not a problem with my fucking club.
All
Now.
that
That's
being
definitely
said,
lies
all
with
that being
you.
said,
Like,
for you to have a residency at Amnesia like you did, that it's a big statement, man. Like,
Yeah.
it
hats
was.
off to you guys, like for making that happen, because, you know, like especially, you know, in recent years to have a mainstream club have a full on residency, like that, where you can do what you want. It surprised me, and you know, it shouldn't do, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean. It like that's almost how far things have gone.
Well,
So-
do you know what? Martin from Amnesia, in the ADE, where Sophie and I had this idea, then we'd start telling people like, oh fuck, we've got to do this now. I remember pitching to him, I don't know why, probably because I'm ADHD as fuck, was lying down on the floor in the Hoxton because there was no seating, pitching this idea to Martin. Martin was like, cool, have a whole season. We'd never done anything.
I have to try that one.
Why will you lie down?
I don't know, just literally just on the floor somewhere.
Like, this is how you get a
That's how you
residency
do it,
at
mate.
Amnesia,
I'll
yeah.
have to remember that
We
one.
have absolutely no fucking pride or shame. So we were like, Sophie was like, oh no, like let's not do that just yet. We ended up still doing Pasha's like for IMS as our third ever show. So we'd done with like Honey Dijon and stuff. We'd done some big things, but we were just like, let's try it. And Martin just wanted to shake up stuff on the island.
Yeah.
And like, it was good. Like we brought a load of people on this island who've never been on before. We gave it a break this year, but partly because of doing Defected and Glitterbox is that I've got, and between that and D for Dance, I've got something mad like 70 shows on this island this year.
Wow.
So it's just like,
yeah, shit.
and sometimes it's good just to not just keep on going. It's just like, right, let's go and regroup and do whatever. Also, musically, we've kind of pivoted where we're a bit more hard techno or a bit more panorama. We've kind of musically a bit like Bergen. So we've kind of, like we're doing Tomorrowland and things like that now as well this summer with like Fiac and LSDXOX.
Oh, wow.
Like making some of those spaces cool. We have like Creamfields Chile again. And last year we had Sarah Landry and Helena Hoff and Marcel Detman. And it's like framing some of those worlds of like Helena Hoff next to Sarah Landry doesn't normally happen, but He.She.They is a space where
We
that
can bring it
can
together,
happen.
yeah.
Yeah, and like bringing the kids that love Sarah Landry and then go show them Helena Hoff. Like go join the dots for all these people. And it was funny because they were like, oh, you know, we've never been in South America before, but here's a 7,000 capacity stage. And if you look,
wow.
it thankfully...
Did you go on that and then you're standing on the stage and just go, oh, wow.
Yeah, because if you look at the video from it, right, because there's no sides, thankfully, to the stage, there's actually about 12,000 people there.
Oh, wow.
So we got like invited back this year. It's been really fun to program because like taking like when He.She.They, if you just did it in East London, it's like, oh, you ran about a night for diversity in Shoreditch. Well, well fucking done. I'm sure you converted some people to it there. Versus like when you do it in Sheffield or where you do it in Chile or we've done them in India, like doing the Indian one where we had like black queer people or like white non-binary people that were like, we had Lewis G. Burton who's trans and amazing and she's like really big bodied and it was just like Indian people hadn't seen people like that take to the decks. And there's a girl that come up in one of the clubs and gone like, I've been asked out by a girl in a club and I've never had that experience from a girl. And like, but I said yes and like, get this kind of feedback. Not that we're on like some missionary conversion thing to convert everyone to being queer, but it's just we want to create spaces where people can be themselves, basically, which again is just like...
Yeah, to be doing that globally is amazing.
It's not radical thing. It's not like, right, we want you to open a sanctuary for trans donkeys or like, you don't need to commit in some like mad way stuff. Just be civil and respectful. You don't even need to understand being trans. Just respect people. Just treat someone else as you would want to be treated if you were them. It's really, really, really simple. And the minute that you start doing that, and like, I have this like analogy, which is, so one of my aunties, she was meeting someone at the school gates in Sunderland who was wearing the burqa. And she met her and she was chatting to her and she went, you know what? And I met this woman, she was wearing the burqa and she was lovely. Like it was some kind of surprise because she'd only ever seen like that thing on like the Daily Mail or the Express or something. And one of the things we want to do with He.She.They is like, actually, the best way to break down barriers is to get different groups of people to meet and go, oh.
Yeah, bring them all together,
normal. Like, it's just humanity. So like, by doing that, I think it's literally something that's just getting everyone in the room to talk, see each other and, yeah.
I'm intrigued listening to you talk and thinking about your background and your history. Like, do you realise or step back at any point, even thinking about Defected, it's like to be in charge of what you're doing now for like such a like legendary brand with like what they're doing at Pasha again this year and Glitterbox. Do you ever stop and go, fucking hell, I'm doing this? Do you ever take a moment and go like, wow?
Or just like have a wank in Just really narcissistic thing. Just a blur of
that's it. Yeah,
the greatest hits from
that's the answer he was leading you down to then.
Yeah, no, I've never done that yet. But I've got this beautiful hotel room tonight. So. I don't know. I think you get complacent, and I also just think it's like when's fucking I don't know Ant and Decker to come out of the thing or like it's all a lie. But most of my success is driven from fear of failure. So like when I was younger, I was like. I say homeless. I never had a key to my own house for like 2 years when I was living in London, and I slept everywhere from friends' houses to the office to gay saunas because they were open on a Friday and then they closed on a Sunday. So I had like there's 2 days I'm staying there festivals. I was in every festival because I could just like go stay there. No one would have really realised apart from like my good mates. But like that's how much I wanted to do it and on my own terms. I would not advise that. I had really good skin though. Really good skin and really empty balls for any homeless person you've ever met. But it's just mad because like and this is I was talking about the free labour thing. It's like we always pay everyone who works for us because especially like there was some like ropey times where, oh God, like I'm in this situation and I can't financially get out of that situation, or like I was like eating fucking like, oh, there's an offer on a coupon on the metro, so I guess I'm eating McDonald's, or like someone's like, oh, you've got a really sweet tooth because I'm always eating like Maryland biscuits, and I'm like, that's what I can fucking like afford to eat.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So it was like mad. I think but I could have got a job like being a psychologist. I could have moved back home. I could have like managed artists that I didn't really want to manage. So again, I can't be too like I had the privilege of having a safety net if I'd really, really wanted to. I just didn't want to. So, but like I was too bloody minded. So I wouldn't advise that. But even though that was probably what like, I'm trying to think, how old am I now? About 17 years ago, that is like COVID brought it back where like I lost a lot of money during COVID with not having events and still managing artists that weren't gigging because you make so little from recorded compared to live for DJs like the ones in the underground. So that was horrible just watching this nest egg, and we didn't get any money to help the employees, so that just came from Sophia and I paying people.
Yeah.
So like, I was like, what I'm not going to buy a house. Oh, then they got this moment where I was suddenly like under zero again. And I was like, everything that I've ever clawed myself out of the music industry from my career. Because it was also a moment of imposter syndrome. So I'd gone from being homeless to go like, I deserve this. So like those trainers, those shoes, like, oh fuck, if I'm now in a room with Richie Houghton and everyone, I have to wear stuff from Rick Owens, I have to stay in the right hotel, I have to.
Really? You never thought that? You fuck off, you thought that.
No, I really did. So I was just like, it's like keeping up with appearances because, oh God, I'm going to be found out at some point. And it's that regionalism and everything like that. If like, I shouldn't be here. Like, like I was, like me and my. It's funny. So me and my old flatmate Anna, who lived in a house where I had to teach her how to use a dart, a metal dart, to pick the lock of our door to get in the house.
You've broken into a lot of places, haven't you?
No. It was one of the tricks on my uncle's shoulders. But it's just if you get stuck. So one time I forgot to take the dart and put that under the letterbox to get back in the house, and I went to a gay club, and I had at the time just a skinhead and was wearing big knee-high Dr. Martens, and they were like, why have you brought this metal dart to a gay club? Like, you look like a weird like fascist neo-Nazi. I was like, no, I just want to like lick men's bums. Like, I'm good. I come in peace. And then Anna
with your little dart, yeah.
I came back and like, I've lost the dart. And she's like, oh my God, how are we going to get in the house? I was like, do you know what? Actually, we shouldn't be living in a house where we get picked up. So Anna is now the head of production at AEG globally. Went and ran, so full circle moment, runs Ed Sheeran's production for his stadium tours. Did Taylor Swift's tour everywhere outside of America. So like, it's funny because she wasn't born into the industry either. So the two of us have literally come together. She's from Wazza, from Warrington. She's brilliant. She's the most amazing, incredible person, but she's such a grafter. So if either one of us was going to give up at any time, and would sit the other one down and be like, "You built a fucking more stuff than this. Just head down. Let's just do it."
I was going to say,
both. It's great because of having that. Like, we've both grown together. So having someone that understands you, who's your best mate, if just being like this is amazing. Or my other best mate,
push each other along together as well.
Yeah.
Motivate each other, because this podcast we like to talk about how you get motivated and things like that.
I think
how did you kind of get motivated yourself to kind of come back from, like you said, COVID, just everything got depleted. Like, what was your motivation into then? Right, I'm going to go and do it all again, and well, that as well, yeah.
Like literally, like how who else is going to pay for this? And again, could have stopped He.She.They or something then. But actually, because the one great thing about COVID was that we could just have this business. We weren't making money from it. So like, cool, let's just post the activism. Let's just do exactly what we fucking want it to be.
Yeah.
And therefore, we actually built the audience to be really cool because we weren't having to worry about selling tickets. We would just...
Yeah, so you could just be you guys and say what you wanted or...
Exactly.
Say,
and I actually
follow
got annoyed
morals and everything like that,
I got annoyed at some club nights that couldn't sell you stuff, or artists that couldn't sell you stuff, that then just didn't post about social affairs. And it was just like, okay, so you're part of the community when you're selling a ticket to the community, but you're not part of the community when it's actually going through.
I mean, one of the things with you, and probably for all of us in terms of motivation, is like we just kind of been, I guess, humble a little bit and just you know, get on with it. And people ask us all the time, all three of us, I'm sure, like, how do you get involved in the industry? How do you get started? What should I do? And listening to you talk, it's like, you know, do everything. You know,
just everything.
See what happens. Don't take anything for granted. You know.
Well, all of us do multiple stuff.
Yeah.
And none of us were born into this industry, and it's just like
I didn't even like electronic music.
Yeah, no, I know.
Still don't, do you?
24, yeah, I still don't. I just like getting fucked up actually.
No, but you've all hold the door open for other people as well, which is really important. Like I mean, yeah, it's. I think that's how you kind of pay it forward, and you try and build an industry that's better for the one that you are before. That's why I like being on the boards of like the NTIA and these different things. And it's like, but I do think the fear of failure thing and not wanting to make it difficult for the people. I think you have two types of people with that, where, oh well, there's only one spot, like for like being the gay guy at the table, or the woman at the table, or the black person, or the working class, or whatever. So I'm just going to make it fucking impossible for anyone else who's like me to get on. Or you have the other people who pull like the ladder down and they're like, right, cool, I'll mentor you. I'll give the internship to somebody who's just like if you're if you're so skewed as an organization in one way, you try and help someone who's not in there get a voice or whatever. So it's just like, it's just really, the thing is, I don't do anything that's not common sense, I wouldn't say. Like everything is...
I don't know,
yeah, true that. But like, say for instance, right, Tricky couldn't get booked at Glastonbury, so Beyonce was headlining Glastonbury, so I just messaged Beyonce's people and we're like, can I get Tricky on a Glastonbury as Beyonce's guest?
Make it sound so easy,
Oh, no
mate.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just messaged Beyonce's people.
But it was that easy.
Got Jay-Z on fucking speed dial.
No, it was. I Googled, it was someone at Parkwood Entertainment.
Oh, there you go.
And like, Google is your friend, you can get pretty much anything from that.
Yeah, true.
Especially with AI and that now. Like, just found out who the person was, wrote this compelling thing about, look, if you're in Bristol and you want to have someone who's not been like overexposed in that way, so someone who's done all these things, like, what a great out of left field guest it would be for someone from the West Country. And then Tricky admittedly missed his cue and didn't sing, so it was a thing. But I was just like, I had the only secret guest at Beyonce's Glastonbury appearance because I'd sent an email. Like, it was as simple as that. It wasn't, I didn't know someone who knew something. I called it. And it's just like, with anything in life, like say like the Massive Attack like remix thing. Maya hasn't got a Massive Attack remix. So at the worst thing for me asking for one, she still hasn't got a Massive Attack remix. It's a no. The best thing is that she can get an opportunity and then she has to kick the door open. And lo and behold, it worked out that way. But it's no more science than that. But there's people with every artist of every shape and size. Like, even when Taylor Bus were on fire back in the day, and I was asking certain artists, some artists that were massive left at it. Some artists that were smaller were like, no, not for me. I don't do collabs. It's not just about, oh, if you're massive or you've got money that someone will jump. There's a lot of artists that will do stuff because it's artistic. Maya's turned down a lot of big artists, but she then produced a guy called Shailu, who's really talented, who she met essentially down a pub.
Nice,
So
I love that.
Yeah, because of connection. So it's like, there's no necessary rhyme and reason. Always, it's just you just go on your gut thing. But if you don't send that initial email, you will never get to that next thing.
Yeah, that's it. You've got to push it out there, haven't you? And just go for it, isn't it? Yeah. I love that advice.
We've all had failure as part of success.
Yeah, like, of course. And as long as you learn something from that,
exactly.
and then you're moving forward, aren't you? Yeah.
I think you do that fucking again.
Mate, I think you do yourself a little disservice though in terms of making it sound so simple. Because,
no, but I don't.
You have but you have the talent as well to know the right buttons to push and the right email to send and the right people to send in the right moment, and you can raise your eyebrows. But you do, and that's why you're good at what you do. So.
Do you know what it is? I think because when I had no money at the start, or no clout, or no anything, I was nice. And the only thing that I had was my ability to make someone laugh and to be nice. So I would be around people, and I would also go to every event, meet everybody.
Yeah,
like
the networking's so important.
Yeah, 100%. Like, if you think that somebody is just going to discover that you're good without you telling them what you want or guess what's in your mind, like, you know, when people are like, manifest, I just think manifest is saying what you want out loud so people hear it and go like, all right, cool. Like, and that's what I've learned. And for some people, they probably think like, oh, he's self-promoting or whatever. But it's like, well, how is that person going to jump inside your mind and go, I'd be up for doing this or that, or like I love like wrestling, and someone got me like really good wrestling tickets or something the other day because I said I liked wrestling. They wouldn't have gone like,
that's amazing.
Oh, you like this, or like, oh, I imagine you love wrestling dressed as you do. Like, I'm gonna give you.
What would be your wrestling
wrestler? Yeah.
Actually, I was going to ask you what would be your wrestling name.
Oh, so I had that. So back in the day,
let's go a bit left field.
Back in the day, it was Little Lord Partington, and I used to have this kind of gimmick thing where it was like, even though I wasn't really typically big or anything, I'd be like, why? And I was very posh. It was like, so why do you hate me? Because I look like this and you look like that. And just be like, I always wanted to be a heel wrestler, or I wanted to be in a tag team called Storm, where it was like I was thunder and someone else was lightning. I had all these like.
Oh, amazing! You've actually probably thought this.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like Future Sound of London. We Are Explosive was going to be my theme tune.
Yeah, I was going to say what was going to be the theme tune.
So that, amazing. And then for the Little Lord Partington character, when I'd done like, I was trying to like do, before I hurt my shoulder, I was going to do wrestling for basically this thing in a leisure centre in Sunderland for like disadvantaged kids. It was like, that was how high I got to that I almost did that. But I've screwed my shoulder doing judo with like the bouncers from this club I was working at.
So that was wrestling career over then.
So Kenobi, slipping into something more comfortable was going to be my like theme tune to this like narcissistic guy with like people throwing rose petals in front of me, and I loved like it didn't make sense.
We can make that happen, I think.
Yeah. Why does this guy who loved himself so much not actually love
IMS like this?
But we remixed that track, and like and we got that because I said this was going to be my wrestling theme tune, and the guys were like, "What?" and then we got that. So it's just, I like just being a bit weird. But Sandra Spitz, my drag character, who Lana Del Rey follows, that's my badge of achievement with that drag character. It takes me 4 minutes to get ready from her. Alex has seen her.
Yeah.
4 minutes to get ready out of a carrier bag.
We've all seen her, mate.
One of your members of staff was once Cunty Colleen.
Oh, yes, I've seen these videos, yes. Look like I had a lovely afternoon, I think.
Lovely. In your house.
Yeah, I know.
Doing an Aussie commercial. Aussie, what was it called? Aussie Miracle. Aussie Moist. Oh, that was brilliant. And we put salt on tequila things. I think Cuddy Colleen's immortal thing was, I love a rim. Brilliant. But
I love you all now involved in this podcast as well.
but my drag character, as well as having a parasitic twin called Dawn that lives inside her, so she's lonely but not alone, is also an ex-WWE champion. It's just like, so it's this weird composite of all these different people. So I think because, also just on my X Factor emotional thing. So my brother died when I was younger. So I think that's also just a kind of carpe diem. He literally stood up and died. Just like one of those ones, which was ironic because he always thought he was ill, and he kind of was right that time. But like, you know, it just kind of gave you this thing of just like, okay, you like, jokes aside, you never know when it's going to be the last day. So you just got to live every day. It's the last. So like send the thing, like do whatever. I also make music. People have played out in clubs. I've never released it because I now.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, exactly. Because I get such imposter syndrome with it. So sometimes I'll put it out with like different people's names on it or whatever.
Oh, really? Oh,
Because I never want it to be.
What type of sound? Or is it
Really,
lots of different stuff?
So the first thing, my flatmate when I was at uni was best friends with Will, who was Burial, and he was like, I didn't used to take K, but I made music for people who were on K, and I did this really weird remix of the Mums of the Prophets. He was like, that's brilliant. I was like, yeah, cool. He's like, I've made this, and it was like early Burial stuff, and I was like, oh, it's brilliant, but like, no one's gonna buy our music. Yeah. I was like, cool, like you go and do your thing, Will, and then
he did all right.
He did brilliant. But I don't know. It's very hard. Imagine that you're the manager of all these people who've won Grammys and Mercury's, noms, and like all these different things, and then it's like, all right, cool, put your thing. And I know it's not going to be as good as it's. I have this project that I really like. And I oscillate between being like, maybe I'm a genius or maybe this is awful, called Redefining Hell. So whenever I used to be anxious, I used to go and make music, like these poems that were cathartic. And I put the poems online. I got brave enough to do that. And I got like 10,000 followers in like 3 months, then took it down. Because I was like, oh no, this is like all self-indulgent and weird. So I think because I do all this mad shit, I'm really good at getting artists to get over the mad shit. Because I'm like, I know why you do this. Yeah, so like one day I'll release this tome of like.
Honestly, I think we need to hear this and see this, mate. Like
someone does what the music doing.
All
of it. All of it.
I only ever did one poetry like reading thing, and I just also I feel like, oh God, I'm writing all this like Sylvia Plath. Like I feel it's like if Sylvia Plath wanted to feel more depressed, she'd like. Read. All right.
Brilliant.
But yeah, no, it's good. It's good to understand that kind of artistic. Temperament, but it's just fear of failure and living for the day is really why I'm successful, and just being nice
drives
and
you
kind.
forwards.
Like no matter how big you are, because every artist will come and dip and manage his career, company, whatever. Because I've been nice, when there's been chances that people could have fucked me over, ruined my career, never give me an act again, whatever. I've lived to fight another day. It's why He.She.They's been able to grow, because Sophia and I admittedly made other people lots of money with the artists that we manage. But it's also because they know that we genuinely believe in this stuff and that we're decent humans, so they've voted us in. Otherwise, we would have been in 23 countries right now. And it's the only reason.
How many are you in? Oh, wow. That's literally all around the world. Now. Oh, wow.
Stage here was Coachella, Glastonbury, to like all these different places. Like.
So what I was just going to say, what does summer look like?
To bookend that, that's why I worked for Wes. Is because and George as well, like is the director of events, because they're actually nice. Like so for me to go and have a boss, I needed someone who echoes my values. Like Wes's kid's queer, so he gets that, and he's really been fighting to make those things diverse. The lineup's diverse. There's all these inclusion panels and things like that at Defected before I even arrived there. So it's just. That's the thing that breeds other people. It's why I'm doing this is because you're actually like nice people. So I think no, but you look, we all have our moments, but in general, you voted a lot of people in, and like you've helped a lot of people. Like it's just you've helped me before. It's like do you know what I mean? It's like it's nice. It goes around, but that's how you last. There's lots of people who go short and might burn a bit faster because they were a cunt, but they're not. I don't know if you have the same thing, but a lot of the people who were truly massive cunts aren't there anymore.
Yeah, no, they disappear.
Yeah, you can see that. Yeah, definitely. So I mean, just to finish it up, like what? I mean, I'm going to ask you a massive question now before we go on for about a day. What is next for Stephen Brains? Obviously the Defected stuff, but like what is next for you and kind of where do you want to? What's kind of planned for the next year, 5 years, or where you want to go creatively, or what's kind of next for you?
So I also wrote a kids book, and I've written an elevated horror film, and I've written a sitcom.
Oh, right, okay.
So
Where do you find all the time to do all this with like your 19,000 jobs that
Why
you
I've
have?
got the glasses on is just because I just look awful under here, and it's literally ADHD. It's unmedicated ADHD.
It's a super. I've got it as well. It's my
Yeah, yeah.
superpower. It's 100% my
And it's
superpower.
just I can just function, and if I'm in that hyper state, I
Yeah.
can just achieve so much stuff. But then it's also you can weave stuff into each other. So having He.She.They fits well into the kind of Defected thing where Sophia does lead the recorded music side more. I feed into that a bit, and we've now got 2 staff members, and then Sophia feeds into the events thing, but I take lead a lot of that on getting new business in. Again, it's not exclusively that, but that kind of helps now. And also people start coming to us now.
Yeah.
People come to Defected and Glitterbox, but it's also us knocking on the doors of new people and being like, oh, do you know it's maybe different to how it used to be? Or also asking people, what do you want to play and where do you want to play? Because there's there's a few people who start playing for Defected and Glitterbox that you wouldn't have thought, they were natural bedfellows. But actually, there's a lot of reverency for Defected and Glitterbox, where people who play Panorama Bar and stuff want to play for it. So it's just but there's not necessarily been the person connecting those worlds up. Because sometimes it's they would never play for us, or
they don't reach out, do they? Yeah,
wouldn't want us or whatever. And it's just let's just open these lines of communication up. Or because of He.She.They, I know a lot of the different talent booking agencies in different countries that maybe there wasn't connections to before. So there's that, and with the NTIA and those different boards, and with Wes trying to do more proper culture change. I got invited to speak at the London Assembly about women's safety and trying to make drugs testing legal in venues and things like that. How can you really make genuine safety?
Yeah.
And I think, touch wood,
you actually you're pretty inspirational, aren't you?
Getting there.
Yeah.
Doing some with the Parliament, House of Parliament about we did something the other day, which was amazing. Where, so this was when the Tories were still in, and they'd had this whole thing about just shitting on trans people and refugees, and then it was about hearing loss. It was totally unrelated to anything, but I got these 2 giant Polish drag queens who wore most outrageous stuff to come to the House of Parliament to help launch this loss of hearing program, because I just wanted that image of Parliament of knowing that you had Priti Patel and everyone, and Brava, whatever she's called. I've thanked Suella Braverman. Tried to expel that from my mind. There in the other room, all shitting on these people and being no, I'm going to make them loud and proud. Them just going through security.
Oh, so they went into the House of Parliament.
In full drag, and
you're trolling the government. I love that.
And exactly. And I'm I'm in this really lucky position that I start getting the ear of these different people, and just making things better for people who aren't just from me, but from all groups. So I guess that just mixing having fun with advocacy and just being open to stuff. I mean, if you'd asked me 10 years ago, would I have thought I was where I was now doing what I was doing, I would have said no. So maybe I'm finally in the WWE.
Yeah,
a manager.
Maybe that's your next career move.
Sandra Spitz is doing that. I want to do stand-up with her at some point.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Got,
so many people would come
eight
watch you,
now.
definitely. Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, so that. But anyway, I'd go on.
Yeah, mate. Honestly,
pleasure
thank you
to have you,
so much for
honestly.
coming on, mate.
Amazing.
You're our first guest today. We're in this beautiful setting. And,
We've already talked about narcissistic wanking.
Brilliant. It's all for the views, mate. All for the views. We're going to go viral on this one, definitely. But no, it's been amazing to have you on. I really appreciate you coming on. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the time in Ibiza. And best of luck for the summer with Defected and Glitterbox and He.She.They, mate.
Well, thank you. I've just seen I've been slouching the whole time, and now I'm finally upright and have a neck.
Yeah, we'll see what that looks like on the camera afterwards.
Handle that in post. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, mate.
But yeah, thank you very much, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
That's all right.
As it were.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.